Mixed messages around property are driving me mad, and I think people deserve to know exactly what's going on. So stay with me and I'm going to explain it all right now. Everyone's being told to stay away from property. The media's full of warnings, your mates are saying it's too risky, and your family's telling you it's not worth it anymore. And on the surface, yeah, I get it. Things have changed. We've got Section 24, which means paying tax on the full amount of rent without being able to deduct your mortgage costs. Stamp duty now starts at 5% for investment properties. And the Renters' Rights Bill has just become law, giving tenants more powers than ever before and requires landlords to be better and more professional. But here's what doesn't add up for me. Walk into any property auction right now, not metaphorically, actually look at what's happening. Bidding is aggressive. So who's buying? Because someone clearly didn't get the memo that property is dead. Here's the reality. There's a massive shift happening right now. One type of landlord is disappearing while the other type is multiplying. And it's not random, it's completely deliberate. The everyday landlord is getting squeezed in every direction. More costs, more restrictions, more red tape, less profit. Meanwhile, institutions are expanding like mad. And when you dig into why, the whole thing stinks. Think about it this way, the powerful can't just confiscate assets from citizens. That's too obvious. I'm talking about Lloyds, BlackRock, pension funds, huge companies that control billions, if not trillions in wealth. Instead, the government make it economically impossible for normal people to hold on to them. You get the same result, different method. You end up selling, they end up buying. Transfer of wealth completed. And here's the clever bit. The rules hammering regular landlords often don't apply in the same way to corporate structures. It's not even hidden. It's right there in the tax code. Different rules for different players. Take mortgage interest, for example. It's a business expense. For decades, you could obviously deduct it. It's a legitimate expense. It's a business cost. That's how expenses work. Then suddenly, individual landlords can't claim it properly anymore, just because they changed the rules. Their profit looks artificially high on paper, but you end up paying tax on money you didn't actually make. Brutal. But companies, different story. Limited companies, they're allowed to deduct mortgage interest as a business expense. So landlords owning property in their personal name, they can't compete. They sell up, but the companies buy, and they buy in bulk. Wealth transfers upward again. And what's coming next looks even worse. You've probably heard the same rumours that I have, the whispers about upcoming changes that could basically finish off anyone still hanging on. I'm talking about more tax layers, more obligations, more costs, all aimed at individual investors. The corporate boys, they're going to be fine. Won't apply to them. So what am I talking about? So firstly, I'm talking about national insurance being charged on rental income. This will only apply if you hold the property in your personal name. If a corporation owns it, it will not apply. Think about what you're already paying on property. You've got stamp duty that's just been jacked up multiple times. You've got income tax on rent. You've got capital gains when you sell. And now they want another chunk just while you're holding it. At what point is there actually any point owning anything? Oh, but here's the kicker. Companies will be exempt. Just watch. They always are. Next, there's talk about the VAT threshold dropping. They're floating that around that they might drop it from 90 grand to 30 grand. So right now, a small business gets a VAT break up to that 90 grand turnover, not profit, turnover. They want to slash that to 30. Think about that. £30,000 in revenue. That's tiny. That's a corner shop. That's a freelancer. That's somebody running a small guest house or Airbnb. None of these people are rich. They're grafting. But now they're having to compete with major corporations while adding 20% to their prices. So who wins? The corporations, of course, because they're already charging VAT anyway. And they've just eliminated their smaller, cheaper competitors without lifting a finger. Every change follows the same pattern. The change sounds reasonable on the surface, but hurts the small operator and barely scratches the big guys. The companies, the corporations. And next, look at this wealth tax idea they're floating around. Sounds progressive, right? Make the wealthy pay their share. I'm all for it. Tax the billionaires properly. Sounds great. But when you look at what's actually being proposed, it's not aimed at the top. It's aimed at the middle. Someone who's worked their whole life and managed to buy a decent family home in a city where prices went up. Now, because the prices went up, they're supposedly wealthy and they need to pay an annual tax just for owning the property. The people with the actual wealth, they've got multiple properties held in trusts and offshore structures. Yeah, somehow I doubt they'll be caught in the same way that ordinary people will. And conveniently, the taxes that do annoy the mega rich buyers, the ones who are buying in bulk, like stamp duty, for example, might actually get reduced or eliminated completely. Funny how that works, isn't it? The middle gets screwed, not slowly anymore, quickly. You can see it happening in real time. So soon you'll have just owners and renters and nothing in between. And what really shows you how far things have fallen, look at who needs help versus 20 years ago. It used to be that charity was for people who'd hit rock bottom. Now it's for people with full-time jobs who can't afford the basics. That's not a society that's working. That's a society that's broken. People are working longer hours than their parents ever did and achieving way less. Way less. Your grandparents could buy a house on one income. Now, two people working full-time can barely afford rent. But it happened gradually enough that people just accepted it. You don't notice the water heating up when you're the frog in that pot. 1 degree at a time until you're cooked. And we're cooked. Most people are completely cooked and they don't even realize it yet. The whole system is designed to keep people exactly where they are, earning just enough to survive, never quite enough to break free, and definitely never enough to build real wealth. Look at what kids get taught about money in school. The banks literally help them write the curriculum. You think they're teaching financial independence? They're teaching financial dependency. Save your wages, trust the institutions, be a reliable employee. Don't take risks. Let us handle your money for you. Anyone teaching something different gets labelled dangerous, unregulated, suspicious. But spending 40 grand on a degree where most graduates will never work in that job or that field, that's fine. That's encouraged. But learning from someone who's actually built something? Oh no, that's dodgy apparently. The whole thing's backwards. Banks will lend you money for anything that keeps you dependent. Car loan? Approved. Holiday loan? Sure. Wedding loan? Yeah, go ahead. But try and borrow for an investment that might actually make you some money. Suddenly it's risky or you're not qualified. Better you just keep working and saving with us instead. They'll take your deposits and pay you basically nothing. And then they'll use that money that they've taken from you to invest in the things that they won't let you invest in. And they get rich and wealthy doing it while you get maybe 1% if you're lucky. The game's rigged completely. But here's the thing. Just because it's rigged doesn't mean you can't win. You just need to understand how it actually works, instead of how they tell you it works. I'm not telling you this to be depressing. I'm telling you this because knowledge is power. Once you see the system for what it is, you can make better decisions. Property is changing. The landscape is shifting fast. The opportunities that existed 5 years ago, they're disappearing, but new ones are opening up for people who know what they're doing. The difference between struggling and succeeding isn't money, it's knowledge. It's knowing the strategies that actually work. It's understanding how to structure things properly. It's learning what successful investors do instead of what broke people say you should do. And that's the whole point of why we created Property.School. We're teaching real strategies that work in the actual market we're in. Not theory from someone who's never done it, not outdated advice from 10 years ago, current practical knowledge that you can actually use, because informed people make better decisions. If you're tired of feeling like you're working hard and getting nowhere, this is your time. We've got hundreds of hours of courses, resources and masterclasses taught by the UK's top property investors and trainers from Progressive Property. Real millionaires teaching you how it really works. You can join us for less than a coffee a week. That's less than 40p a day. It's cancelled anytime. We're not going to lock you into any ongoing contracts or anything like that. So I'm going to invite you now to go to property.school/go. Just type that into any browser. I'll say it again, property.school/go. Come learn with us and then do what you've learned. It's that simple. And play the game right and you can change your life. Because here's the truth. 5 years from now, you'll either be glad you got educated and took action, or you'll be kicking yourself for waiting. The people who figure this out now will be fine. The ones who keep hoping things will magically improve, they'll still be hoping in 5 years from now, while everything gets harder. It's your move, but don't sit on it too long. The window is closing. If you're ready to actually learn this stuff properly, come join us at Property.School/go, and I'll see you inside.